curious, you put $300,000 into it as an angel investor. Um, are you still holding Coinbase as it went IPO? Did you hold all of those shares, or did you exit at all? Like, what was kind of the story along that?
Yeah, so obviously our funds have done distributions to our LPs, and then our limited, I'm a VC, so I'm actually investing on behalf of endowments and institutions. And then in terms of my personal book, I've sold a little bit in terms of just diversifying because this is my biggest exit as a VC. I've been doing it for 9 years, but the carry checks take a long time to get to in venture capital. Our funds are closed-end funds that last 10 years with multiple 2-year extensions. It's not uncommon for 14 years to pass by for exits to finally happen. So if anything, this is a little bit earlier than schedule. But the majority of what I'm holding because Coinbase is really sort of that Google or Facebook of crypto. It is the HP. It is the place where the top engineers are going to come and continue to build the future. And I think the future is extremely bright for what Coinbase is and what it will be in the future for the space.
How do you define like the bull case for Coinbase in like a nutshell? Like, why are you still holding on to the majority of your shares? I'm supposing like you still think it's early innings, right, for Coinbase, huge market potential. Like, why do you think Coinbase is kind of going to be one of those defining kind of companies in the crypto era?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first you have to sort of think about what era are we in crypto broadly. And I think that there are sort of three things that are happening simultaneously. The first one is the store of value. And so that is the thing that is farthest along. A lot of the people who are participating, they're participating for the increase in value, the sort of inflation hedge that Bitcoin in particular might be. And I think that that's just a little bit further along. But that isn't the only. And when people say crypto, often they think, oh, that is all there is when it comes to crypto. And I think that that's just the first. I think it's plenty big. I think it's, if gold is many, many trillions of dollars, then crypto is at around 2 trillion. And, it's farther along than most in terms of the trends. The ones that I think are really interesting that are really just coming online right now are, for instance, decentralized finance, the ability to do all of centralized finance, settlement, security tokens, lending, insurance. All of these things are now online and growing very quickly. At the end of about a year ago, all of DeFi and Ethereum was about $1 billion. I think last I checked DeFi Pulse, it was something like 70 or 80 billion. So it's relatively rare to have that kind of growth period. Anything that can grow 70 or 80x in a single year, I think we're still very, very early innings. I think a lot of the critics say, hey, this is, it's a lot of speculation still, right? And to that, I would say you're right because it's so early. But things like what happened with GameStop not being able to properly settle on Robinhood, that kind of thing doesn't have to happen with a decentralized settlement model. So it wouldn't surprise me that in the next 5 or 10 years, some of the things that are coming down the pipe are, they might replace pink sheets first, for instance. I think that's where a lot of the world and a lot of the smart finance folks that I hang out with, that's where they're thinking. DeFi and all the things that are centralized can become decentralized. They're going to become better, faster, and cheaper. And it's already happening on Ethereum right now. And so that's sort of the second wave. And the third wave, I think, is one that I'm extra excited about, but we are so early that I hesitate to even talk about it too much. What I think is next is actually the decentralized autonomous organization. So for instance, a good example of this might be Research Hub. I could see something like Research Hub, which is both a tech company and decentralized, autonomous org that has a crypto token. Something like that could eventually fund research that rivals that of Oxford, Harvard, or Stanford, or any research institution, because there's economics, there is a culture and a community of smart scientists who could rally around it. There would be brand effects that actually basically make it the dominant place where people want to publish. If you can line all of those things up, these sort of decentralized, uh, these organizations that are not centrally controlled, with a full sort of blossoming of the crypto ecosystem, they could actually really rival that of centralized institutions today that, frankly, need to be disrupted. Frankly, some of them they're becoming so decrepit, they actually need to be replaced by something that could be governed by software. So I don't know. That's a really long answer, but I think that's the role that Coinbase sort of has to play on all of those fronts. It's the on-ramp and off-ramp. So a lot of people look at the exchange and the exchange fees. I think that people who worry too much about the exchange fees right now are really saying that there is only one epoch, that there is only one part of crypto that matters, and that is the store of value and the pure speculation. And if you told me that we would be sitting here with Bitcoin at $40,000 to $60,000 wherever it is now, I would be shocked. When I funded Coinbase in 2012, I didn't fund it for the speculation. I funded it for this idea that stage 2, something like decentralized finance, and then stage 3, the truly decentralized autonomous organization, that was going to come to fruition. And I think you can see this in the through lines on a lot of the things that Coinbase is working on now. They released a fully decentralized wallet, for instance. And that's really important right now, because for that third step, being able to have a UI. Today, a lot of people use MetaMask, but I don't think anyone is really going to expect that MetaMask is what we're going to be using in 10 or 20 years. It will be something that is far easier, far simpler, far better sort of integration with your existing bank accounts. And literally, that's what Coinbase is. It's like the clean, well-lit place that allows you to participate in this totally new economy. Mm-hmm. And so owning things like wallet, it ends up being your identity. So it becomes like your Facebook identity in this sort of new decentralized marketplace, right? And I don't think that's the only thing. Looking at things like BitClout, I think those are fascinating experiments. I don't think BitClout is that likely to be the final version of what ends up replacing Facebook and Twitter, but it is a proof of concept. And so I liken it to 6 Degrees. I don't know if you remember using that, but that happened even before MySpace and even before Friendster. And it was sort of the prototypical social network. The idea was that every person on the planet is separated by 6 degrees. And today, the full manifestation of that idea is, of course, a multi-hundreds of billions of dollars, perhaps trillion-dollar company that is Facebook. Yeah. And I think that the proper realization of decentralization of what crypto represents will actually eat all of that value. If we have choice, why would we allow big tech to have that much control over us? And then, to me, decentralization is the good news, because you don't have to. Like, you could choose your own computing environment. And I think that that's where all of this goes. If you focus on just the exchange fees right now, it's a great business, honestly. Like, the profits are fantastic, but we are in sort of the first inning of this very long ball game. And so the score looks amazing, but wait till you see the end.